podcast you're about to listen to is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of horror movie fans who chose to listen to the Huge Horror Movie Podcast.
With your host, Killian Gore.
Hello, and welcome to the Huge Horror Movie Podcast. I've said that now about 3 times, haven't I? So, I'm Killian Gore, and today we'll be looking at slasher movies. So it's really slasher movies that I think that got me into horror to begin with the film Halloween, as I'm sure it was for a lot of you. It's the gateway movie into Horrorfilmland, which I taped off the television, I seem to remember, and watched it the following day. And my God, I still remember the nightmares. But I do remember the nightmares. I genuinely had nightmares about the movie. But specifically, the music from the movie. There was this one dream. I probably shouldn't probably shouldn't tell everyone this because it makes me seem really, really weird. But it was a neighbour of mine. It was a guy I went to school with, and I won't say his name. Let's just call him D. McCarthy. No, that's too obvious. Darren M. So I had this dream where I went over to his house and into the shed at the back of the house where he was dead, and then the Halloween music kicked in. And I still remember hearing that the music in the dream. How bizarre! How very bizarre. So there was Halloween, and we never rented that one because I don't think that one was available to rent for us, because we could only pick from Betamax, because my father, he stubbornly refused to make that transition to VHS, because he believed Beta, he correctly believed Beta was the superior format, because it was. I mean, Beta went on to end up as like the professional tape in television, Beta SP and Digibeta. But so we stuck with Betamax, and that gave us a very limited choice in the one video store, I think, that was left in Warrington. So the choice, we were limited to... I remember Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. I don't think they had 1 or 2, but they had 3, so we watched that one endlessly. That's a good one, I suppose, to have got stuck with, because it is one of the better ones. But the other one was National Lampoon's Class Reunion. That's another one that always stuck out for me. And I've recently got it on Blu-ray. On an American Blu-ray, and it's still I still love it, man. I love it. It's I mean, a lot of people, if you're watching it for the first time now, you'd probably think it's trash. It is trash, but it's good trash. And the other weird one, it's not a slasher movie, but it was Bloodbath at the House of Death with Kenny Everett and Vincent Price, which was a really bizarre choice. I still don't know. How did Vincent Price end up in that movie? It doesn't make any sense. Plus, of course, the voice of Michael McIntyre. For anyone listening in the UK, he was, of course, a very funny TV comic. But it was his dad that directed Bloodbath at the House of Death. And he met with a rather horrible end, as I think you can read in my Incredible Horror Movie Facts book. I'm going to be plugging my books all the way through the show. No, I promise not to do that, like not all the way through. Like at least every 5 minutes or so there'll be a plug. Just done Troll 2, so the Troll 2 quiz books. So look. No, I'll stop plugging the books now. So his father, I think he committed suicide in California, I think. But Michael McIntyre didn't know this. He only found out through doing one of those TV shows where they sort of look at your history, your family history, and the researchers had found it out and thought, oh crap, we're gonna have to break this to him. That's a bit sad. Anyway, it's Bloodbath at the House of Death. It's just it's one of those I still watch now because it's just bonkers. It's like a bad movie, but a funny bad movie. Anyway, I've gone off from slasher films back to slasher films now. So and the history of the slasher movie. So a lot of people have a different opinion on where slasher movies actually began. A lot of people believe it started with Steamboat Willie. I'm joking. That was one of the first cartoons. Sorry. Yeah, a lot of people look at obviously Halloween and Psycho. But yeah, you can be traced back a lot further. Some people cite the old Dark House, that Universal horror. But I mean, yeah, it's got to be honest, haven't we? It was Halloween, that sort of 1978's Halloween, that kind of kick-started that particular model of slasher movie, which went on to have these endless rip-offs. They weren't all total rip-offs. I watched a very good one actually last night that I hadn't seen before, from 1981, the golden year from the golden age, and that was Final Exam, which I got on a Scream Factory Blu-ray, and incredible movie, really. For one, you can hear me. I don't know if the mic's picking up my keyboard there. I'm cheating. That's why I always cheat. I always have to cheat. So yeah, I'm just looking at the director, Jimmy Hudson. Never heard of him. And his name is not clickable on Wikipedia. So I don't think he did much else. I'd have to look on Internet Movie Database. But the incredible thing about Final Exam, which struck me, was there's no reason why the killer kills everyone. You know, I mean, I thought that was one of the staples of the slasher movies. You know, you looked at the killer's backstory, and just with Final Exam, that's a brilliant difference. Has anyone else ever done that? Somebody with some horror knowledge needs to look into that. But it's just crazy. I thought, at some point we're going to get the reason why. Is he a disgruntled student? Did he get kicked off the course? Was he cheating on his exams? Is that might tie in with the final exam? But no, nothing. No explanation at all. He just tries to kill the final girl. The final girl kills him, and then she goes and cries on the stairs. Boom. And all the time I'm waiting and thinking, well, are you going to offer us an explanation for this? And then the credits start to roll. And okay. I guess you're not bothering with that. But well, I say not bothering, but I really like the way they didn't bother. Maybe they actually couldn't be bothered. Like, I can't think of a bloody reason why. Let's just leave it. Leave it as it is. I believe there was a novelization though, which is said to have hint. It says here on Wikipedia, where I get all my information from. No, I don't really. Just the majority of it. It says the novelization hints at the motivation of the killer. And I guess I'd have to read it because it doesn't say any more than that. Fascinating stuff though. So yeah, 1981 is often looked at as a key year for slasher movies. I'd actually have to just look that up. So some of the other 1981, The Burning, of course. The Burning, My Bloody Valentine, which is coming to Scream Factory in February. The Prowler, another good one. Happy Birthday to Me, Madman, Hell Night, Just Before Dawn, Friday the 13th Part 2, Halloween 2, Final Exam is on the list. Graduation Day, Don't Go in the Woods Alone, Bloody Birthday, Student Bodies, interesting one because it was already getting spoofed in 1981, which, a lot of people think that's going to sound patronising, isn't it? I won't say a lot of people think in a patronising way ever again, I promise. But yeah, a lot of people think sorry. So I think that Scream was the first spoof, not other people. No, nobody else thinks that. It's commonly thought that it didn't get sort of self-referential until Scream in 1986, or Wes Craven's New Nightmare again. Some people look at that as the first self-referential horror movie. But yeah, Student Bodies was doing it. And actually, weirdly enough, so was Class Reunion, which is a movie which I've mentioned, but a lot of people don't mention. We've also got The Funhouse, Toby Hooper, Night School, I've never seen that one, Bloody Moon, never even heard of that one, Eyes of a Stranger, Home Sweet Home, don't know what that is, Nightmare, that's Nightmares in a Damaged Brain, Strange Behaviour, Deadly Blessing, Madhouse, very good, Absurd, Dark Night of the Scarecrow, Hospital Massacre, The Fan, I don't know that one, Night Warning, oops, I hope you can't hear these clicks. Ghost Keeper, don't know Ghost Keeper. Evil Speak, good one. Scream. There's one here called Scream in 1981. The House by the Cemetery. Is this all slasher movies now? Because we got The Nesting, Lady Stay Dead. I like that title. Lady, you stay dead, okay? No Place to Hide, don't know that one. Saturday the 14th. Oh, there we go. Another spoof. That's not really a slasher movie spoof, though, is it? It's just a horror spoof. The Boogans, Road Games, Jamie Lee Curtis, Blowout. It's not really a slasher film, is it? It's good though. It's good film. Can't pronounce that one. And Murder Syndrome or Murder Obsession as there. So there's just some of the other 1981 ones. Anyway, I promised myself I wasn't going to cry. No, I promised myself. Part of this show will be looking at the huge horror movie quiz book for some questions. So I do hope you've done your homework from my book. So let's open up the book here and look at the first question in slasher movies. Which early slasher movie opens with the words "The film"? Oh, right. This is in the introduction to the show. The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths. Oh, that's very easy, isn't it? So, yeah, text. I'm not going to give the answers straight away. There will be a short recess. A 5-minute silence. No, it won't be 5 minutes silence. Just a few minutes. No. Anyway, so let's have question number 2. Right. No, this is question number 1. Forget about that first one. That was ridiculous. Aside from his appearance at the start of the movie, for what reason did Corey Feldman not play the role of Tommy Jarvis in Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, for the entire film? Yes, because remember, he is in the beginning. But why didn't he do the rest of the film? Anyone? Oops, I shouldn't bash the desk. I'm on one of those chairs that moves. I don't know what the name as oh my gosh, my brain. Yeah, you know, a wheelie chair. I put a little bookmark in at where the questions are, but not where the answers are. That's shoot. I need two little bookmarks. My bookmark, I actually use old business cards. Cassettes. Spinal Tap, that was. Right, yeah, so that's question number 1. Any ideas? Question number 2. What is the original title of the 1985 slasher movie, The Mutilator? I remember this. You see, the thing is, a lot of the things in my quiz books I don't remember the answers to. I don't have a very good brain. Shouldn't have done an Irish accent there. I'm sorry. That was not intentional. I do a lot. I go through a lot of accents. A lot of people always say to me, "Where the bloody hell are you from?" To which I will reply, "Oh, well, I'll point up at the sky because that's where I am from. I'm an alien." Question number 3. Which 2016 slasher movie features the poster tagline, "This isn't hell, this is Holland"? Oh, yeah, I like that one. The next one, 4 or 5. 4. What is the name of the... Blood. It's because I've chosen not to include that first question. It's thrown me. I'm not very good with numbers. What is the name of the 1989 slasher movie that is something of an Evil Dead 2 reunion featuring cast members Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, Dan Hicks, and Ted Raimi? You know, weirdly enough, I have that disc in right now in the background on the Blu-ray player. I put it in because it's one of the 88 slasher classics collection, and it's got the documentary Going to Pieces on there, so I thought that'd be a good thing to pop on in the background. You can't hear it or see it. It's pointless for you. I don't know why it's of interest to you. No, I put that on, to sort of to just rip off ideas from as I'm going along, really. I believe it's made by Callum Waddle, who's quite heavily associated with slasher movies and 88 films, and he's communicated with me sometimes on Twitter, so he's kind of like my best friend now. Not really, but yeah, it's a good documentary if you've not seen it, and it's on the that would give if I told you what it was on, that would give the answer away, wouldn't it? Well, I'll tell you later. I'll tell you later. Which of the following, this is number 5, which of the following 1980s slasher movies did Jamie Lee Curtis not appear in? Prom Night, Terror Train, My Bloody Valentine, or Halloween 2? That seems very obvious to me, that one. And probably everybody else. So there's our 5. We're leaving it at 5 questions, which will have their answers revealed in a few minutes, So what next? That's all I've written down. I didn't write the whole show. That's the last thing. Do the questions, right? So, yes, slasher film facts. That's the other thing I was going to do. Yes, there was a hidden cut there. I hope you didn't notice it. But I fixed one of the little problems, because I just listened back to the first bit, because doing these podcasts is obviously a new thing for me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But yeah, all the clicking thing. Well, I've moved the keyboard and the mouse onto a little tray, so you won't hear those little clicks anymore. There was a joke. There was a joke then. So yeah, I was going to look at some slasher film facts, and I just like rooting through some of my books, the ones that I've done, and of course, yeah, I've not mentioned Black Christmas. Come on, Black Christmas. Come on, everyone, be upstanding for Black Christmas. Black Christmas is just a beautiful film, one of my favourites, and this, of course, predates Halloween, doesn't it? It's 1974. And it's just it's a classic film. I was just looking at the back of the book, because I always have lots of trivia. The backs of my quiz books are littered, absolutely littered with trivia. Oh, you'll love them. So yeah, it was Black Christmas initially began life at the cinemas as Silent Night, Evil Night, because they thought that Black Christmas would be mistaken for a blaxploitation movie, which you can see where they're coming from there. So they called it it was Black Christmas. They changed it to Silent Night, Evil Night, and it didn't perform well. So they went back. So we went back to the original title, the new originals. Now the Spinal Tap. Well, I keep doing Spinal Tap. I like Spinal Tap as well. So yeah, they went back to calling it Black Christmas, and it proved successful at the box office. So that's nice. So yeah, and then there's a couple of remakes, isn't there, of that? There's the new one, which I've not seen, which didn't get dreadful reviews. A lot of people were totally against it, weren't they? From the onset, from the poster. The minute they saw the poster, it's like, no, you can't do that. But I mean, yeah, remakes are going to happen. Yeah, and I always say that have I changed my accent again? I can't help it. I don't know where I'm from. So, Black Christmas, the remake, yes. A lot of people, yeah, totally against remakes. I've always been quite supportive of them. because I look at it and it's like so it's another chapter in the bigger story. It's another, or it's just another retelling, like going back to the campfire tales kind of thing. People would tell the same ghost story, and they put their own twist on it, and there's other stories, isn't there, like Dracula and Frankenstein. Nobody gets all up in arms when they're going to do another Dracula remake. They might get up in arms about the finished product, as they did recently with the BBC one. A lot of people slightly against all of that, weren't they? I didn't watch it all properly. Sounds awful. But I'll probably buy the Blu-ray because, do you know what? Do you know why I want the Blu-ray? I really like the box. I really do. I nearly bought the book recently, even though I've already got it because I like the cover. But I didn't. No, I'm trying to get rid of things at the moment because I've got too much junk knocking around. I'm always selling stuff off. I'm a hoarder. I'm a hoarder type who sells some of his hoard. I don't know. Just do people like me? Should we exist? Should we? I don't know. Anyway, Black Christmas. Yeah, there's the 2006 remake as well. I think I've got that year right. Yes, it is 2006. Just looking in the Black Christmas quiz book here, available now from Amazon for paperback and Kindle. Oh, I've done it. Oh, I did it again, didn't I? Did a little plug. I didn't really enjoy the 2006 version because I just find it really confusing. The original Black Christmas is just so beautifully simple in its idea, and it works. And then it just felt like they went really convoluted with the 2006 one, and I didn't know what was going on. Why didn't they just keep it like it was? It worked, But some remakes, I shouldn't be going on about remakes because I could probably do another one on remakes. But there's some that it's the new twist is something that really works. Like Evil Dead. The moment I heard of the way they were updating that, I just thought, I like this already, and it's a great film. Anyway, I'm going to do some facts from some slasher films. I've got one here, but it's Eaten Alive, Tobe Hooper. I don't know if you really look at that one as a slasher film, but I'm going to. I like all the alternative names that it had. I like all this thing with alternative names. It's weird, isn't it? You got Death Trap, Horror Hotel Massacre, Legend of the Bayou, Murder on the Bayou, Starlight Slaughter, Brutes, and sorry, is that two different ones? No, that is sorry, Brutes and Savages, and Slaughter Hotel. My gosh, he had a real slew of alternative titles. And talking of alternative titles, there's of course one particular another early slasher film that we've not addressed, and that is can you still hear the clicks? Can you hear that? I tried to sort of hide them down here. The other one is Twitch of the Death Nerve, which is just I'm just trying to find it. 71, yeah, another one there that's kind of predates Halloween, and I've got it on the old Arrow video release as A Bay of Blood, which I think has the alternative artwork as Bloodbath. But come on, Twitch of the Death Nerve. That's the title. That's the title to go with. That's the one we should use. They famously said. Do you remember? Mario Bava, yeah, he once said that in an Italian accent now. But they poo-pooed that idea. Nobody says poo-pooed anymore. I'm trying to bring it back. So that's because Twitch of the Death Nerd famously had the double impalement, which everyone thought that Friday the 13th Part 2 just stole. Nothing wrong with stealing stuff, is there? I've read a good quote about that recently, and I'd love to have shared it with you, but I've forgotten where it came from. But it was, who was it? Somebody's, oh man, I'll try and remember because it's good. It's about stealing. Oh, it was Jim Jarmusch. Yeah, because I watched that. The Dead Don't Die. That's Bill Murray's zombie film. Do you know, when I watched that, I felt like my reaction was what the line from Tootsie by Bill Murray, where he goes, "I saw you play. What happened?" And that's a little bit how I felt about The Dead Don't Die. Right, here we go. Jim Jarmusch, he said, "Nothing is original. Steal from anyone. Nothing is original. Steal from anywhere that resonates with inspiration or fuels your imagination. Devour old films, new films, music, books, paintings, photographs, poems, dreams, random conversations, architecture, bridge, street signs, trees, clouds, bodies of water, light and shadows. Select only things to steal from that." Select only things to steal from that. That's badly worded, isn't it? "That speak directly to your soul. If you do this, your work and theft in brackets will be authentic. Authenticity is invaluable. Originality is non-existence. And don't bother concealing your thievery. Celebrate it if you feel like it. In any case, always remember what Jean-Luc Godard said. It's not where you take..." I should do a French accent, shouldn't I? It's not where... I didn't think that through. I was hoping a French accent would come out. "It's not where you take things from." What am I doing? I thought I could do French. I'm just doing it in English accent. "It's not where you take things from. It's where you take them to." So there you go. That's Jim Jarmusch. And where have I ended up here? Where have I ended up? We're going to do... Oh, let's do the answers. Let's go back. Do the answers. So obviously the one that I didn't read out was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We all knew that. Number 2, the Corey Feldman thing. Why didn't he do part 5? He was shooting the Goonies. Not literally. At the time. Hence only having a cameo in the movie. The Mutilator question. It was Fall Break. Fall Break. That's a better title, isn't it? I do like The Mutilator as a title, but Fall Break. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that one better. The Windmill was the one about the poster tagline being "This isn't hell, this is Holland." Oh, have you not seen The Windmill Massacre? See it. I urge you to see it. You'll like that one. And then the next one, Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, Dan Hicks, and Ted Raimi, was The Intruder, which, like I say, is the one that I put on to look at the Going to Pieces documentary, which I'm really ignoring that documentary at the moment, though. I'm sort of looking at it, but I'm also ignoring it at the same time. And that's it. Is it? Did I read another one out? Oh, no, yeah. The 80s, the one that Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't in, of course it was... It looked like I'm checking, but I know it already. It's My Bloody Valentine. Yeah, so I've never seen the original My Bloody Valentine because I keep waiting to get a good release of it, and to see an uncut version. And I just found out the other day that this new Scream Factory one is gonna be uncut. Oh, there's Bay of Blood on the documentary I'm ignoring. I just saw the moment I just talked about. Gone on to Puppet Master now. But is that a slasher film? I think it is, isn't it? Yes. I think people class that one as a slasher film. So many of the Puppet Master films. I've never really got into those. I've tried recently and started buying some. I bought 1 and 5, I think, and of course that new one, The Littlest Reich, which was great fun, that one. But yeah, I need to build on that collection. It's difficult though. There's a lot of them. Some of them are supposed to be awful, which is never fun. So anyway, it's going to do some slasher movie. You like that? Some slasher movie facts, wasn't I? Oh, Black Christmas. Going back to Black Christmas. Back to Black Christmas. Was the awful story of how the director died. Was he killed, wasn't he, in a senseless accident with an illegal immigrant from Mexico. Oh, Trump would like that one. I don't do politics. I shouldn't have said that. But he was from illegal immigrant from Mexico. He was driving without a license and was 3 times over the legal blood alcohol level. He initially pleaded not guilty, but later changed his plea to no contest, neither admitting nor disputing the charge. What a bastard! Jesus, 6 years in prison. He'll be out and about now, I imagine. Wonder where he is. How could you live with yourself knowing you'd killed the creator of Black Christmas and A Christmas Story? Another gem, not horror, obviously, but I'm thinking actually doing a Black Christmas, A Christmas Story tie-in book with the 2 titles. That's a bit weird. Yeah, but maybe one day. Bloody Murder. That's the other fact I wanted to do. It's interesting, this one, because there was a 2000 film called Bloody Murder, which was released in the UK as Scream. Hang on, in the UK, as Scream Bloody Murder, and then the sequel to that, which was Bloody Murder 2 Closing Camp, was released in the UK as Halloween Camp. Then there was a UK DVD sequel to Halloween Camp, which was Bloody Murder, which was called Halloween Camp 2 Scream If You Want to Die Faster. Catchy. Which was actually an unrelated horror film called Adam and Evil. So the 2 Halloween Camp movies over here in the UK on DVD are just different movies. They're not even connected. There's a lot of that goes on, though, isn't there? One of the most famous, I guess, would be Zombie 2, or Zombie Flesh Eaters, as we call it in the UK, or just Zombie, as some other people call it, which was sort of marketed as a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, because Dawn of the Dead was called Zombie in Italy, was it? So Dario Argento... Oh, yeah, Dario Argento had recut it, hadn't he? And then called it Zombie, missing off the I at the E. He missed off the E. He couldn't be bothered with the E. I don't need that E, he said. I don't need an E on the end of the thing. So, I'm so sorry. I'm such a silly person. So, yeah, and then Lucy O'Fulci, I never know how to say that, did Zombie 2, yeah, which was Zombie Flesh Eaters, or whatever it was called initially. Anyway, we've gone off again. I wanted to talk now about Sleepaway Camp. Archie Liberace. I've just given away the answer. I was going to lead to the answer. Archie Liberace was the name of the guy who played the naked Angela at the end of Sleepaway Camp. You see what I mean? That's in the end of the Sleepaway Camp book. Littered with dirty facts. Anyway, it's about time we did some more questions. We've had a bit of trivia. We've had a laugh. We've had a bit of fun, haven't we? Have we? I have, anyway. So, we'll move on. I'm going to rather cryptically go with the numbers from the book to save confusion. So, question number 7. Which 1987 slasher film movie was also known as Nightmare at Shadow Wood? Oh, that's a good one. Not a good question. Well, it's a good question, isn't it? But it's also a good film. Number 8. Which 70s box office hit was said to have been instrumental in starting... Oh, come on. I led with that fact, didn't I? Sorry about this one. Instrumental in starting the huge boom in slasher movies. Yeah, Halloween. So, next one. 9. Many of the 70s, 80s slasher movies were banned in Britain and commonly referred to as video nasties. But what was the name of the Parliament Act that led to over 70 titles being banned. I'd like to talk a little brief stop from the questions. I'd like to talk about video nasties. I mean, because they are synonymous with the slasher movie. A lot of them were slasher movies. Old Pieces has just come on the TV. Beautiful, beautiful film. But yeah, the video nasty, and because I'm obviously from England and I'm from that generation when all these films were getting banned, I just gonna have a sip of so unprofessional, man, ain't you? But yeah, I'm from that era where all the films were getting banned, and I remember hearing these films, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Exorcist, The Burning, all these films that I couldn't see, and it kind of made it made you want to see them more, because you thought, why are they banning that? Why can't I see that? And so I still remember the first time I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It was on a VHS. It was a pre-cert VHS. And my friend at school, Abigail. Do I give the full name, or is this because it was an illegal trade-off? This, but yeah, she sold me the pre-cert VHS, which I still have it. I have one of the few VHS tapes I've got left. I'll talk a little bit more about VHS in an hour, or so. I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah, so yeah, when I first saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it was still banned in the UK, and that added this extra dimension that you don't have anymore, because they hardly ban anything now, do they? You can look at real murders on the internet, for God's sakes. What's happened to us all. I think there's still a few cuts that happen. There might be a few bans, but it's not as commonplace as it was back then, the 80s and 90s, where they were just banning everything. And I could even make a joke that they were, even if the film had the word massacre in it, they'd ban it. But that's true. That's actually true. If the film had the word massacre, it was an instant ban. Which didn't work out so well for the Care Bears massacre. No, I make funny. Oops. This tray that I put everything on is everything sliding off it. Right. Where am I up to? Where am I? What am I doing? So yeah, I added this extra dimension. When you were watching something that you were told that you couldn't watch. And, maybe they should ban more films, It just adds this extra flavour. This... I don't know how to describe it. Do you? Write in with your descriptions of description. I never talk this much normally, so it's gone to my head slightly. Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 has just come on the TV. So... do you want to talk about that? I don't know. Garbage Day! Need a break!
Apologies for the short delay in this podcast.
Hi, I'm back. Thanks for sticking with me. Are you still listening? Are you still listening? Probably not. Anyway, so I should point out that in that little break that I secretly had... well, I've told you now, haven't I? The cat's out of the bag. I noticed that the documentary that I keep referring to is not actually going to pieces. It's Slice and Dice, the slasher film forever. So sorry about that, Callum Waddle. So yeah, I was going to do the rest of the questions. I was in the middle of the questions when I got sidetracked by Video Nasties. So, despite being a big... this is number 10. You writing these down? Despite being a big success at the box office, Gunnar Hansen, Leatherface, you all knew that, said that his first royalty check for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was a mere $47.07. Now, is this true or is it false? Number 11. Which 1982 slasher movie features the rather impressive cast members Jack Palance, Donald Pleasance, and Martin Landau? Number 12. Close your eyes for a second and sleep forever is the poster's tagline from which 1982 slasher flick? Close your eyes for a second and sleep forever. 1982. Do you know, I don't know. I don't know that one. Thank God the answers are at the back of the book. I did this book like in, 2017. Wow. This is 2020 now. It was a while back, isn't it? I can't be expected to remember everything in the book, can I? Don't look at me like that. I'm not like, a fraud. I'm not a fraud. I am a fraud, actually. No, I'm not a fraud. But I do have a dreadful memory, So, that's the real reason. I'd like to remember more. I really would. That's why I put it all in these books. So I don't have to remember everything, do I? I can just look in one of these books. I should say, on the subject of the huge horror movie quiz book, 2 things. Number 1, this is quite funny. If you look on the back, no, it's not that funny. Just a bit of trivia. On the back of the book, and you might have a copy. If you do, go get it. I'll wait here. Have you got it? If you look on the back, it says the huge horror quiz book. Hey, it doesn't say the huge horror movie quiz book. Oops. Kind of noticed that after I'd already published the thing, and I thought, oh no. And this was back before I knew how to mess around with photos a bit more, because it would have been such an easy fix. I could have just there was a time when things weren't such an easy fix. I remember when I did the Friday the 13th quiz book, the first quiz book I ever did, that I think I'd messed up the back cover. I think it was the barcode and all that. I didn't take the barcode into account. Something happened, I can't remember what. And the fix on it was a nightmare. It would be easy now, You learn more. I've always said, don't really know what I'm doing with the editing video, in anything. I don't know what I'm doing in anything, really. But with the photo software, I just kind of wing it, I press buttons until something works, basically. So, I never fixed it. I left it. Silly of me, wasn't it? I probably could fix it now, but then then the book disappears, and then something weird happens on Amazon where it shows like the original book and the new one, or it makes a new list. I don't know what does happen. Something I did it once, you see, and I just remember weird things happening, so I left it well alone from henceforth. But that's the first thing. The second thing is that I'm doing the huge horror movie quiz book, or the huge horror quiz book according to the back of the first one. I'm doing part 2. Hey? I'm doing part 2. So that'll be out later this year. So look out for that one. Had I stopped the questions then? I can't remember. Yeah, oh no, it was that one. Anyway, it was the close your eyes for a second, wasn't it? Number 13. Which of the Friday the 13th movies did the Prowler director, Joseph Zito, go on to direct? I know that one. Should point out a little bit of trivia here for you about me. That I try, if I can, where possible, to have question 13 in any of the books I do be related to Friday the 13th. I'll give you some examples. I'll pick up, let's look at the House quiz book here. Brilliant film there from 1986 or 1985. 1985. Some people say 1985, some people say 1986. Dead annoying when something like that happens. Because you want your facts to be like, what's the word? There's a word. Consistent. You want them to be consistent and accurate. And so, it throws you when some people are saying it's 85 and some people are saying it's 86. It's like, oh God, well, what do I go with? In the copyright now, I've noticed I put 85. Anyway, I've lost me. Oh yeah, question 13. Let's look at the 13th one in Thankfully it is. So yeah, in the House Quiz book, it's prior to directing House. How many Friday the 13th movies had House director Steve Miner directed? 2. He did parts 2 and 3, didn't he? Should we do another one? Have we got time for another number 13? Don't know who I'm talking to. Just the curtains. Like an American Werewolf? No, that's not. Whoops, let myself down. Creep Show? Yes! Which Friday the 13th movie featured the crate prop from the Crate story in Creepshow? Jason Goes to Hell, the Friday. Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday. Jason X, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives, or Freddy vs. Jason. It is. It's Jason Goes to Hell, isn't it? The Final Friday, of course. Adam Marcus's fantastic film. Should we look at any more? Are you getting bored of the 13th? I've made my point, haven't I? I think I made the point that the 13th question tends to be related to Friday the 13th. So, have I done enough questions there? Or do you want another one? We'll have one more. Because it's a film I want to talk about too. Which Oscar-winning actress had an early film role as Sophie in The Burning, 1981. That's The Burning. Great film, that. Because I was just looking at this list of the biggest slasher movies at the box office. In Justin Kurzweil's brilliant book, which I'm just looking at the title of the book, because it has different names, so I've forgotten it. It's the Teenage Slasher Movie book, Justin Kurzweil, he's one of my favourite podcasters with his Hysteria Lives or Hysteria Continues. Please, Justin, if you are listening to this, don't. You know? It's just pales in comparison. You know, especially as I'm covering slasher movies here. And you're probably just like, if you did start listening, I imagine you switched it off like after the intro. Was it after the intro, Justin? No, I bet it was. So, I'm just looking at the top. What is this? I'd have to count them all. There's a big list here of which ones were the biggest at the box office. Halloween there, of course, at number 1. When a Stranger Calls, number 2. Surprising hit. Yeah, because When a Stranger Calls, even though I think, a lot of us do love that one, from general, the vibe of the horror community, it doesn't get talked about that much, does it? Does it? I see it sometimes. But no, it's not. I mean, it's not what I'm saying. It's not really like spoken about at the same level as like Halloween, Friday the 13th, and My Bloody Valentine, The Elm Streets, Silent Night, even Silent Night, Deadly Night seems people could go on about a bit more. Maybe it's because When a Stranger Calls, it's one of those like The Burning that did get a sequel though, didn't it? When a Stranger Calls Back, but it was a made for TV sequel, which is jolly good actually. And the same with The Burning, which had nothing. I mean, When a Stranger Calls also had a remake, so it's got its own little posse of films. Couldn't think of a better word then, so I went with posse. But yeah, The Burning's got nothing, has it? Absolutely nothing. You'd think there'd be like a remake or a sequel, or these days a TV show. I can't imagine a Burning TV show. That'd be good though, wouldn't it? Imagine if they suddenly announced like they were gonna do The Burning, the TV show. Be well on it. I'd love to see that. So, what am I doing? I'm going to carry on with the top, whatever this is. I can't count. He Knows You're Alone. He Knows You're Alone. Now, there you go. I've not seen it. I know that title. Is that the one Tom Hanks is in? I think it is. We'll try to look that up for you. Can you hear that click again? He Knows You're Alone. I think that's the one that Tom Hanks did an early performance in. I don't know if has anyone ever released that one. on Blu-ray, because I mean I'd be all out. I don't think. Oh, it is Tom Hanks. Yeah. So shall we see if there's a Blu-ray? Shall we see that? Because I'd have that. I'd like that. Just taking this time, Oh, it's on this list here. Oh no, I don't think it does. Will somebody release He Knows You're Alone on Blu-ray, please, for us? There's a lot of titles out there. Sometimes I'm browsing through Internet Movie Database. Like I was the other day when I was doing the Troll 2 book, and there was just some films that popped up there, and I thought, what are these films? I want to see them, because I don't. You see, I don't illegally stream stuff, so I'm not one of those. I don't have access to every film ever made, which I like in a way, because if I had access to every film ever made, I'd never do anything else. And I like to have stuff in the box and support the industry. I mean, so many people. Did you hear that? I shouldn't make noises, but so many people, who are streaming stuff and they try and justify it like, oh, I'll buy it one day though, or the films are too expensive, so I just watch them for free, and I don't buy into that. If something's too expensive, you don't have it, do you? Cars are expensive. What, you going to go and rob one of those because they're too expensive? Where do you draw the line? But, so many people do it and they don't see it as a crime anymore, which is the annoying thing. It's become, there's so many words I don't remember. It's become the acceptable crime, hasn't it? So stop it if you do it. You illegally downloaded this, have you? I bet you bloody well have. So, He Knows You're Alone, yep. Prom Night. Oh, yeah, Prom Night. I hadn't seen that one until fairly recently, but it's just a great film, isn't it? Jamie Lee and all that. Curtis. Nearly didn't. I'm not on first two name basis with Jamie Lee Curtis. But yeah, there's quite a few sequels to that, which I'd like to see. I've not seen any of the sequels. Prom Night 2. Prom Night. Yeah, there's Prom Night 3 now, and the 4. There's 4, isn't there, in the Prom Nights? Yeah, again, that'd be a great Blu-ray box set, so I'd be well up for that. There's one on the list which I don't recognise. Silent Scream. Will somebody tell me what Silent Scream is? I'm just looking it up. From 1980. And it's a slasher film directed by Dennis Harris. He's not clickable. I recognise those names there though. Ken and Jim Wheats. Yeah, they were involved with one of the Elm Streets there, and of course Ewoks: The Battle for Endor, and The Birds 2: Land's End, and It Came from Outer Space 2 in 1996. It's not clickable, so It Came from Outer Space 2. Was there? What will they come up with next? Next on the list, Eyes of a Stranger. Yeah, I know that one. I think I've seen it. Friday the 13th Part 2. I've seen that one like a million times. Yeah, it's a great sequel, that, isn't it? Halloween 2, another great sequel. Happy Birthday to Me. Yeah, that one's fun. I like that one. And Hell Night. I like Hell Night. Just saying I like to all of them, or I'm not saying it. Shall I go on? No. Oh, but I'd like to mention one that's on here that I do think wants a mention. Psycho 2, hey? I've heard recently that Quentin Tarantino even likes Psycho 2 more than he likes Psycho. Gone a bit far, isn't he? Hey, it's gone a bit too far. But it is, yeah, it's a great slasher film. Bit of trivia, but you might already know this. Christopher Walken was initially approached to play Norman Bates because Anthony Perkins didn't want to do it. Because it was, at that point, I think it was a TV movie. And, because it was a TV movie, he's like, well, I'm not doing it then, he said quite famously. Just like in that voice, I'm not doing it. No, I refuse. And then, I don't know what happened exactly. whether... Oh, yeah, I remember. It was because he'd heard somebody else was doing it. Christopher Walken, because he heard Christopher Walken was doing it, he was like, no, that's my role. It's my sausage roll, so I'm doing it. So, and then at that point, because Perkins was back on board, it became a TV... It stopped becoming a TV movie, and it became the feature film. And what a feature film it was, too, eh? We all loved that one. So the answers to the next batch of questions, God knows where I began. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was the Video Nasty Act, which was the Video Recordings Act of 1984. May it burn in hell. Although, like I said, there was some positivity surrounding it. You know, it made the films more appealing, didn't it? You know. On the subject, though, of films getting cut, I'd like to bring up the burning again. Bloody hell. Will he ever stop talking about the burning? No, he won't. No. One more thing about the burning. I remember the first I think it was VHS, or it might have been a DVD that I had of the burning, was the Vipco cut version. And there's the old raft sequence in there. And it was, you know, everything was chopped out, and it just kept cutting back to Cropsey and his gardening shears, and the screams, and a bit of blood, and you know, you never saw any of the gore. And then many years later, and you know, I got to see the full unedited thing, and I gotta say, you know, maybe I was slightly disappointed. Were you? Was anybody else? Because it's like, oh, right, so that was what was so bad I couldn't see. Really? That was it? A couple of chopped off fingers? And stabbed through the neck? My God, I've seen worse than that. I've seen real people get killed. I haven't really. I don't watch that. I don't like those kind of real videos. But I don't like real gore and real violence doesn't really appeal to me all that much. I like the trick, the special effects. You know, because a lot of people, or normal people, non-horror folk, muggles, you know, they'll say, oh, I can't watch that, I can't watch all that gore. And, you know, they think it's disgusting in a way that you do, but, you know, but it's fake, and that's the fun of it. It's like a magic trick. I think even Tom Savini compares the two things, you know, it's the trick. And it's the trick that's the enjoyable thing. It's almost like seeing how real somebody can make something, and, you know, it becomes enjoyable to see how good a job they can do of it, you know, to see how well you can be tricked, in the same way that a great magic trick, you know, is enjoyable to watch. Any road. Back to the answers. The next one was, the Gunnar Hansen thing. Was he only paid $47.07? Yes. True, yes he was. A rather dubious deal had been struck involving a mafia-run organisation behind the film's distribution, resulting in many of the cast and crew initially being ripped off. There you go. You know, you hear about that happening a lot in films where, you know, the filmmakers, and definitely the more so with like the cast, and they don't see the financial rewards from the films. You know, these people like these producers and production companies and distribution companies are the ones making all the big dollar, and the stars, you know, they're broke. Have you seen the Best Worst Movie documentary? Did you see Margot? Anyway, 1982. I knew this one. Yes, the 1982 slasher movie with the impressive cast of Jack Palance, Donald Pleasance, and Martin Landau. Little sideline here. Do you know that the lady, was she the babysitter? Yeah, the babysitter, I think, in The Omen, who jumps off the roof and hangs herself. That we're all here for you, Damien. That's Jack Palance's daughter. There you go. It's just the trivia. It's just an endless stream of it. It's incredible. The next one. Oh, that didn't give the answer. Alone in the Dark was the answer to that one. Alone in the Dark. Close your eyes for a second and sleep forever. The poster tagline in a 1982 slasher film. So no, I don't know this one. It is The Slumber Party Massacre. Oh, right. Yeah, makes sense. Sleep forever. Yeah. Get it. Clever. Which of the Friday the 13th movies? Yeah, but we know... Well, I know that. Do you know? Am I excluding you? I'm sorry, dear listener. Yeah, the Friday the 13th that Joseph Zito directed. It was, of course, the wonderful final chapter, part 4. And then the Oscar-winning actress from The Burning was, of course, Holly Hunter. And that's it, isn't it? Did I stop there? Yes, I did. And I think I'll probably... Am I stopping the show there? I think I've done enough. That was so there we go. That was the first huge horror movie podcast. I don't know if you're expecting anything huger than that. You know, there'll be more of them if you want huger. There'll be more. So thank you for listening. If you did listen, please like, subscribe. No negative comments. I don't like negativity. It really annoys me. More one of those, annoyingly positive people. I love this, I love that. But, that's I shouldn't say annoyingly, because, well, I am to some people. Probably. And anyway, I'm waffling. This should be the Huge Waffle podcast, shouldn't it? The Huge Horror Waffle podcast with a variety of accents and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's me all over and out. Many thanks for listening. You can tell I'm very keen to stop this. And yes, so thanks again. My huge horror best wishes to you all. Good night.